Tuesday night, we see the first matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. Both of these teams are coming off 6-game series victories, and they now battle to see who will make the NBA Finals out west. This series will prove to be extremely interesting, as these two teams will rematch for the first time since the Western Conference Finals in the 2020 bubble. Only now the teams are way different. We're going to be talking about both of these teams and why I ultimately think the Denver Nuggets will advance to the NBA Finals. Be sure to stick to the end to hear about the Lakers portion of this video and not only the Denver Nuggets, because you do need to hear both sides to why I made my verdict. The first question I have for the Denver Nuggets, if you guys are going to win this series, is will Aaron Gordon's defense transfer from Kevin Durant to LeBron James? Now, some may argue at their age that Kevin Durant is a tougher guard. When guarded by Aaron Gordon, Kevin Durant shot just 22 of 60 from the field during that Suns series. It was really remarkable with how efficient Devin Booker was. We saw a lot of nights from Kevin Durant where he was getting his 30, but half of those points were coming from the free throw line. And it was just very, very interesting to see for the first time in my viewing experience, as long as Kevin Durant's been in this league, he was not the best scorer on the floor. And obviously it's hard to compete with someone that's shooting 70% from the field and getting 40 points like Devin Booker was, but a large reason that Kevin wasn't able to keep up was Aaron Gordon's constant harassment. And what I love about Aaron Gordon is you've never heard him ask for his flowers from the media, and because the Denver Nuggets are such a small market team, not many people are giving him his flowers. But even though he's having quiet nights on the box score, or maybe he's having an inefficient night, he's still willing to just face up with one of the generational scorers. Some people say the greatest scorer of all time in Kevin Durant. So I'm really interested to see how that defense transfers to LeBron James. The next thing I'm wondering is, what is LeBron James's role in this series? We're going to touch a little more on that when we talk about the Lakers. But while we're on the topic of the Denver Nuggets and defense, Nikola Jokic has shown that he's a capable defender in this postseason. Out of the top 11 defenders in the NBA postseason thus far, only 3 of them remain in the NBA playoffs, and Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are leading the NBA's postseason in defensive rating, and Nikola Jokic is just less than 1 point behind Joel Embiid. He's looked really great in the small amount of zone that they experimented with in that Suns series, but honestly, in his man matchup, he looked really great against DeAndre Ayton and Jacques Landale. Obviously, these guys are no Anthony Davis, but I digress. Because let's be honest, he will have a hard time stopping a healthy Anthony Davis, but we will touch on that when we speak about the Lakers side of things. My next 2 things for the Denver Nuggets that are big if they want to win is Jamal Murray going to stay as locked in as he was in the Phoenix series, in the Minnesota series. Jamal Murray looked like what everyone loves to dub Bubble Murray. Jamal came out and said it himself that this is not Bubble Murray, this is just what healthy Jamal Murray looks like. Obviously, we know he's had that ACL injury, and those things can tend to linger. I mean, having one of the biggest ligaments or tendons in your knee, muscle groups in your knee just tear apart, it's really hard to get locked back into running on hardwood for 82 games out of an entire season. Jamal Murray right now in this postseason is averaging 26 points, just over 6 assists a game, and just over 5 rebounds a night, and he's also shooting nearly 40% from three-point land, and he has done a great job taking over down the stretch in big games, other than I believe it was game 2 or no, I think it was game 3 in that Phoenix series. They ended up losing that game, and a large part of that was because Jamal was, I believe, 0 for 9 in the fourth quarter, and he was just trying his hardest to dig them out of the hole that he had dug. In that situation, we need Nikola Jokic to grab things by the reins and just reel his teammates in, and that's okay. Another person who is a big X factor in this series is Michael Porter Jr. I'm really hoping that he's less streaky, because it feels like every other game, I'll show you his game log now, it feels like every other game in this postseason he's shooting great, then he's shooting poorly, he's shooting great, then he's shooting poorly. Overall, his defense has not looked as terrible as I thought it would. I felt like Kevin Durant or other members of the Phoenix Suns were going to expose him, and on the possessions where Kevin and Devin were guarded by Michael, they were not the best, but honestly, as bad of a defender as he is, it could have been a lot worse. He's doing a pretty good job rebounding, and I just hope he doesn't lose interest in what's in front of him. The last things the Denver Nuggets need if they want to advance to the NBA Finals are for Bruce Brown, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Christian Braun to continue making huge big-time plays. These guys give energy to the Denver Nuggets like no other.
KCP was fantastic last season. Bruce Brown is playing way above his pay grade, and the Denver Nuggets probably won't even be able to pay him next offseason. And Christian Braun is giving amazing minutes and really doing a phenomenal job in transition and on the defensive side of the ball. If Coach Mike Malone can continue to not be super stale in his rotations and continue to find out what's working and adjustment-wise, then I think the Denver Nuggets can take this series in 6 or 7 games. I'm really stoked to see how this series plays out. On the Lakers side of things, I feel like the number one question that all Lakers fans or Nuggets fans have going into the series is how much can Anthony Davis quote-unquote contain Nikola Jokic? Because last series, I should say, my apologies, Nikola Jokic was averaging about 35, 10, and 10, and it really was unstoppable to contain him. The night that he had 53 points in that game 4, it looked like he legit just waddled into the lane and made every tough shot that he was given. I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the video, but what is LeBron's role in this series? That's something I've been asking myself going into a lot of these matchups. It felt like in the first series against the Memphis Grizzlies, it was mostly Anthony Davis with the lack of front court that the Memphis Grizzlies have. Obviously, you got to remember Brandon Clark and Steven Adams were both injured. Then in Series 2 against the Warriors, we kind of are painting this image in our head that it's going to be the Steph versus LeBron show, and it's going to be really crazy. But then we have a game like Game 3 where LeBron James doesn't even attempt a shot attempt until the third quarter. It seems like at this point in his career, LeBron's very unpredictable, and honestly, it seemingly has been working in his favor. Last series, it was really hard for me to gauge how great this team is because Austin Reeves and Lonnie Walker and D'Angelo Russell all had random big offensive games, and I don't know if going against the 1 seed in the Western Conference, that's something you can count on. I feel like this is going to be a more, obviously, don't get me wrong, the bench wins matchups, the bench wins games. If your bench is, that's why Phoenix didn't succeed. That's why I picked the Nuggets to win in 6 games, which they eventually did. But I don't know if you can count on Austin Reeves and Lonnie Walker and D'Angelo Russell just yet. This team, we got to remember, it was crafted at the trade deadline. I'm seeing a lot of people say, oh, we had a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs, and now look at us, we're in the Western Conference Finals. That's fantastic, but that team that had a 0.02 chance to make the NBA playoffs is not this team. This team is much, much, much better, and it's a much more complete roster. I'm very interested to see who Jared Vanderbilt is going to be guarding this series. He looked really great when guarding Steph Curry last series, so that makes me pose the question, does he get the Jamal Murray assignment? And if he does, how does Jamal Murray do under that pressure of one of the best wing defenders in the NBA? The last question I have for the Los Angeles Lakers, and fans, if you made it this far, let me know. How do you guys think Darvin Ham is going to do in his first conference finals appearance as a head coach? This season, it seems like Darvin Ham has been scrutinized and rejoiced every other night for his decision to switch up the lineup and start Dennis Schroeder some nights or give Lonnie Walker great minutes off the bench, take Austin Reeves in and out of the starting lineup, or leave people in too long. It seems like Darvin Ham's kind of been all over the place, but I digress. I think this series is going to be very interesting either way. The Lakers could very well win, but me personally, I'm going to continue to ride with the Nuggets. They were my pick to make the NBA Finals from the rip. I picked them over Minnesota, I picked them over Phoenix, and now I'm just going to have to pick them over Lakers, and I will die on that hill. Metaphorically speaking, obviously, I feel like Nikola Jokic just has something to prove this season, and he has looked absolutely locked in. I hope both of these teams can stay healthy, and I hope we can see the whistle go both ways, and I hope that the refs aren't trying to set something up like a Lakers and Celtics finals, or I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that, but what do you guys think? Who do you got winning this series? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. Have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.